So back during the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union, someone somewhere had a brilliant idea to start to improve relations between the two superpowers. And this idea was to send groups of students back and forth between the two countries to create what they envisioned as people-to-people connections, which is how I found myself in the summer of 1992, crammed into an Aeroflot jet with around 50 other horny American teenagers. Destination, Moscow. As you can imagine, we had a pretty tightly controlled itinerary over there, and we were highly supervised. So during the day, we would visit museums or go to see local schools and meet with students. But being teenagers, at night, we were drinking dodgy beer in our dodgy hotel rooms, hormone-fueled hookups happening all over the place. But I didn't take part, because it wasn't the American boys I was interested in. I wanted the forbidden fruit. You see, I was raised with a steady stream of anti-Soviet propaganda my entire life, okay? This was the evil empire. Russians were people that we met at Olympic ice hockey finals, or basically as the villain in every movie made in the 1980s. But go back and watch Rocky IV. Dolph Lundgren as Ivan Drago. And this was 1992. The Soviet Union had collapsed. It was economic disaster. And we were there, and they told us stories that Russians were actually resorting to rolling their cigarettes with ruble notes, literally smoking their worthless currency away. I was a naive American suburban middle-class girl, and these guys were sexy badasses. So we were at this event towards the end of the trip, right? It was during the daytime. We were in this big hall, and there were some Russian students kind of over, up against the other wall. And so I'm kind of standing here, acne, braces. I'm kind of standing here trying to look hot. And I was looking around for chaperones because we were tightly watched, but there were no chaperones around, and I felt eyes on me. So because there were no chaperones around, I kind of looked up, and I saw him. My tall Soviet stallion. Piercing blue eyes, red tracksuit with the CCCP across the front, cigarette dangling from his lower lip. Whew. But the way he looked at me, the stare, I had no idea if he wanted to kill me or throw me to the ground and ravage me, but I was here for it. Because my 15-year-old lady parts had never felt like this before. So he started to walk over, okay? There are no chaperones around. He's starting to walk across the room towards me. And I'm nervous. I'm shaking. And he comes over, and he takes the cigarette, and he offers it to me with a little flick of the eyebrow. I had never smoked anything in my entire life, okay? Let alone this hand-rolled cigarette from sexy hot dude in Moscow, but I was committed. I was gonna smoke it. All I could think to say was, "Пожалуйста." And I took the cigarette, hands shaking. I took the cigarette. Oh, biggest mistake of my life, because I was coughing, I was kind of spluttering. I think there were tears running down my eyes. And the worst part was that I saw his look of raw desire just change in an instant to confusion. He no longer wanted me. And I knew in that moment I had blown my chance, blown our chance of overcoming the star-crossed geopolitical circumstances that we had found ourselves in to make that connection. And I went home a couple days later, dejected, having failed the mission. And even today, I'm a little bit sad about this because, I think back and I'm like, look at the world today. Maybe if, some horny teenagers back in the day had just made that connection, the course of history would have changed. And maybe, just maybe, instead of having more wars, we'd be having more consensual sex and peace. So my student days are long past me now. But when it comes to doing my part for international relations, well, пожалуйста.